And we are back. Bryan Broaddus, thanks for being here, sir. Appreciate you. I also wanted to give a small little shout out, Bryan, since we here, we just talking, we ain't doing nothing else. I wanted to give a shout out to Jim in Round Rock. He calls you guys on the post game show, and I'm a fan of Bryan Broaddus. I'm a fan of Zach Woolchuck and all those guys, man. I was just tuned in, and Jim from Round Rock says, hey, he appreciate what you do every night on the Doing All Right podcast. So I just felt that. I loved it to pieces. So shouts out to you, Jim in Round Rock, for tuning into us. Bryan, first of all, how you doing? I know you're fine, but how you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. You know what? It's funny. Jim is a constant of our program, weekly, the what you thinking, what you drinking, kind of a thing. And then he's also a constant of the post game show too. So yeah, and I told you this. There's a lot of folks, and I'm going to be out and about tomorrow for the station. We got to go do it's Flagtober for us, so we're going to go do all the various drop off flags at all the various Whataburgers. So I'm going to be in Garland tomorrow to open the day at 9 a.m. I guarantee you there will be people that will come up to me, they will get a G-Bag Nation flag, and they will tell me that they really enjoy the work that I do with you. That's been a constant. And thank you folks all for listening, and thank you for coming up. If you do like our program and you see one of us, come up and let us know, man, because again, this is something that we love doing and love bringing you guys this content, but it means a lot that you take the time to do it. So, it's just, it's the fun thing when people come up and like, yeah, I listen to you and Voch all the time, man. You guys are my guys. And then, I go through and read the comments too, the good, the bad. I tend to like the good ones and then answer the bad ones is what I do. Yeah. I try and get an idea, but we do appreciate everybody out there that takes us in on a daily basis.
Incredibly grateful. Appreciate y'all, but we have a job to do. So
we do.
So if y'all don't mind, man, Bryan Broaddus, let me just ask you a question, man. We just gonna kick it off like this.
Yeah.
I know a win is a win is a win.
Woo. And
especially a division opponent, those can be tough. On the road can be tough in the wee weeks of the season when you're trying to acclimate yourself to this whole thing that we're doing here. I know it can indeed be tough. Half of me wants to feel like, okay, well, it's a win, so we're fine. We should just cool. But I feel like I should be allowed to pout. I should be allowed to pout about it a little bit, Yeah, we improved some. Run game look better on offense. Run defense look better on defense. We made some improvements here. But is it bad that I feel like we were supposed to put 40 points on that team, but we just did not?
I picked the Giants to win, and because I felt like that there were things that Dallas had not shown me this season when it came to playing some of the run defense stuff, especially the last 2 weeks. I worried about the physicality. I felt like the Giants were better in a couple of areas, of the skill areas, the running back area. I know Saquon Barkley, but every time you play Saquon Barkley, he's hurt, and you don't get the full effect of Saquon Barkley. I was honestly worried about Singletary. I think that. I was worried about Neighbors for sure. I didn't know you were going to be down to your fifth, sixth corner by the end of that football game. That makes it a little bit more challenging for having to play. But I think Robinson, I think there were some plays in that game where if the Giants, and you could say this about the Cowboys too, and I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here, but if the Giants could have thrown the ball deep, you were in trouble. They missed some deep shots in this game.
Sure.
They made some underthrows. Hell, it was clear there was a couple different times they ran by you.
Yeah.
They threw over the top.
Penalties.
Penalties.
Yeah.
Rondell Robinson, the underneath stuff. He drops a ball. Lewis did everything he could to try and reach the ball underneath it. It's a drop. That was going to be a huge play. Hooker goes for an interception over the top, on the sidelines there towards the end of the game. If it's anybody but Robinson, they probably catch that football, and now they're knocking on your door with a chance to win. It was a sloppy game for both teams. I felt like your quarterback played well in the first half. it tends to be this game now. We need to figure out the Cowboys offense and what they're going to do in the second half. You know, CeeDee Lamb, great first half, second half, where are we going here? And so, you're right. A win is a win. And the Dallas Cowboys needed that win in the worst way. But I'm just saying there are things when you do play a better team. And here, as I thought the Giants would win, I just felt like the Giants had enough personnel maybe to give you some problems.
Sure.
And their quarterback, he played better than he has in any other time against you, but they missed some throws. They had some drops. They really couldn't, they couldn't get you, they kept driving the ball, and kicking field goals. Their coach took a field goal from the 3-yard line. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're lucky, when you get in a game with somebody that's not going to be that way. They're going to go for it there. They're going to, they're going to test you a little bit more. And you played some teams that have tested you the last couple of weeks, but I'm happy they won. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy. I really am. I just, there's some things though that worried me in that game. But I'll tell you this though, we've been complaining about the run defense all last 2 weeks.
Sure.
They played good run defense in that football game. They got after it. They finished, they tackled better. They had some guys step up that needed to step up. Mozzie Smith stepping up, Overshone stepping up, Jordan Lewis stepping up. They had some guys that stepped up in that game because all of a sudden it got a little thin there at the end because the Giants were running a lot of plays at you. Hell, you had a chance to get off the field at 4th and 1, and Wilson misses a tackle. Then what happens? You get 10 more plays run after you after that. Instead of having the ball at midfield and a chance to, you're in Brandon Aubrey field goal range when you get the ball at midfield. So, it had its moments, but there's a lot of things about this team that still need to be cleaned up, and I think they know that.
Yeah, the Giants had the ball for a long time, Bryan, and I think that was a combination of, just the defense not getting them off the field. Like they would eventually stop them. Eventually they'll stop them, but they'll give up a play to get a first down and give the Giants the ball again. Penalty, all this kinds of drive killers. Those things will just stack up on you. And the thing about the Giants is, they didn't finish very well neither. They didn't finish in the red zone neither.
Sure didn't.
So you can't give them credit for that. But this just goes back to another conversation. I wanted to bring this up. And, I'm just getting some of this doom and gloom out early so we can gloat a little bit later. But we did talk about the idea that the first thing, when we talk about when we're playing against these other teams, why can't we put our best guys versus their worst guys? I wanted Al Michaels to just say Cordero Flott's name all night. And he didn't. He said it sometimes, but he didn't say it all night. Andrew Booth, we saw him immediately. They took advantage of him.
Yeah.
Amani Oruwariye, they took advantage of him immediately. I knew he caught the game-winning interception, but Al Michaels said his name a whole bunch. I just wish that my team would just do that instead of, all right, we're going to go out there and run our curls and maybe just another dude running the out. Or we're going to run our curls and another dude running a crossing route or something like that. And there was a part of me, I told Jeff this, I told my audience this, Bryan. I felt like if the Cowboys would have lost, big change would have happened, right?
Sure.
But I feel like since you won this game, there may be a good feeling about it. And, hey, we'll just keep doing what we're doing next week. But I think Pittsburgh will beat you if you roll that out there against them. But in terms of, like, improvement and things that we did get better at, Bryan, did you notice, Voch says this, did Bryan notice this, right? The running back rotation went sort of like, all right, Rico Dowdle is our starter and our main guy, and we're going to end the game with Zeke. Did you notice that that's kind of how this was going to go?
Yeah, I felt like, though, that it was, I think it worked out that way. Me personally, I'd like to have seen Dowdle finish this thing off, him and Hunter Lipke. I have no problem with that. Zeke, I get it. There's a lot of love for Zeke. And I'll ask you this, Voch. Is Dalvin Cook on this roster as insurance and not as a piece to potentially use?
I think Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott is a redundancy. I think they're the same dude at this point.
Sure.
hey, solid blockers, pass catchers, you know, get what you can get, solid vision, but your body kind of lets you down. They're the same dude to me. So I think he's there in case Rico Dowdle is hurt guy or Zeke is old guy, or Deuce Vaughn is small guy. You know, so I don't think they're in any rush to get Dalvin Cook involved. And if you rush to get Dalvin Cook involved, do you get better by way of, okay, you're involving him, but who do you take off the field? You're either
I take Zeke.
Sure.
I take Zeke off the field is what I would do. And I know damn good and well they wouldn't.
They're not gonna do that.
You know?
They're not gonna do that, Brian. So yeah, and this goes back to the question that I asked, you like last week, 2 weeks ago. Is there anybody that's on the practice squad or at the bottom of the active roster that you feel like can elevate to help you right now? And some of the names that my audience were bringing up was, Dalvin Cook, Wanye Thomas, Bell is hurt, but Flournoy. Like those were some of the names that we were thinking about elevating or whatnot. So yeah, I don't think Dalvin Cook is in real consideration to be elevated. I just think he's a guy that's just there just in case.
Yeah, and this is what I worry about. I worry about Dalvin Cook has come here with probably the expectations that he is going to play, that he is going to be on the active roster. And if somebody were to have an injury, maybe they go another route. Dalvin Cook is an old man, but at least Dalvin Cook's in shape because he's been working out every day.
Sure.
But my gut feeling, Voch, is that if Dalvin Cook got another opportunity to leave here, I think he would.
Yeah.
I don't think that Dalvin Cook is getting to the point. And last night was something really funny because I was on with Derek Eagleton and Ambar Garcia today on the break. And Derek Eagleton in the locker room said that Ezekiel Elliott, this was very rare for him to do this. That Ezekiel Elliott, usually the media knows that after a game, you crowd around his locker, he's going to give you some time and kind of talk about what happened, good or bad. Yesterday, Ezekiel Elliott came in, put his clothes on, put his headphones on, hit play, and was gone. No hanging around. And so, does Ezekiel Elliott know what's about to happen? Or is there something that we're missing right now? Or is the fact that Rico Dowdle seems to be the primary back? If you look at the number of carries, it's almost double what Elliott has had. So I don't know. This is very unlike what Zeke usually does with the media. And I wonder if he knows something, but I also wonder, where Dalvin Cook's head is right now. Dalvin Cook's probably thinking, wait a minute, we're averaging 3.5 yards a carry on this offense, and you don't want to give me a chance? Where's his head? It's probably not in a good spot right now.
Running backs, you kind of got to tap them on the shoulder and let them know it's going to be all right. It ain't like Brock Hoffman where he just accepts the job and just do whatever you ask him to do. These running backs, they want an opportunity. They show up for an opportunity. And if you listen to Zeke talk, even if you listen to Dalvin talk, they both feel like they can still run. And I think they both think that they can start and be lead backs. They'll be wrong, but they at least think that. And hey, it was. I understand it, but we've heard rumbles about other running backs on this team that kind of got upset when they didn't get an opportunity or whatnot. But I just don't see how Zeke can look at his performances and what he's been doing and go, "Hey, you guys are holding me back." I don't think this is one of those situations. Yeah,
and you talk about the offense, and I'll pivot away from the running back room, but there's always this: how do you get Brandon Cooks more involved?
Oh, you asking me, Brian Broaddus?
No. And this is I'm telling you, this is the conversation that you and I get into a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Because people want to know. People ask, hey Voch, hey Brian, why can't you get Cooks more involved? The way you get Cooks more involved is the damn same route you ran him when you ran him behind Ferguson and let Ferguson run as a pick and threw the ball behind the pick. Yeah. Is what you do. What you and I have been talking about, so I think a lot of others too, we're on a lot of different platforms, and everybody talks about Cooks. That's how you get Cooks going. Hell, that's how you get anybody going.
Yep.
You set things up to run routes like, hey, I want to, quit asking Cooks to run these comebacks or quit running the hooks or whatever, you set things up for him. You run him behind picks. You run him through trash,
crossing routes, stuff like that.
Routes.
Mesh.
Yeah, you don't ask him to do something like a 6'4" receiver would do. You set him up for things, and this is where, you know, I want to get on Mike McCarthy a little bit. A couple of things. I think Mike McCarthy, you know, could have done a better job of getting his guys. We saw what the Giants were doing with their guys, right?
Sure.
You know, we saw. I mean, it's like moving guys around, putting them back, whatever. I'm not talking about jet sweep plays, but talking about moving them around and like, okay, your worst corner's over here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's motion over here and see if you'll pick this guy up.
Wan'Dale Robinson had a lot of design stuff to just get him the ball in space.
No question. I mean, they tried to get him the ball down to the goal line, and it was a hell of a play, you know, to get him out of bounds over there. You know, I mean, they ran a pick with Neighbors kind of off a motion and circling back around and throw the ball. And Dallas did a great job of getting him out of bounds. So he couldn't score. Yeah. But they were setting things up, and it's the same thing. And now I'll say another thing, you know, we're going to get into the Guyton's day. And, you know, 80% of the time, my man is playing one-on-one blocking.
Sure.
You know, and I asked Stephen Jones the question today. I go, was it by design that you were just going to double Lawrence all day and leave? You know, he goes, well, you got to double, you know, Lawrence. A lot of teams are going to double Lawrence. And I'm like, okay, you know, Cooper Beebe, 20% of the time he single blocked that, you know, his man. Yep. 80% of the time he was getting some type of help. You know, there has to be an important time. Okay, if you're not going to help Guyton, then on third, then on 3rd and 1, don't be throwing the damn ball.
Sure.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then what happens with Guyton 3rd and 1, he gets a holding call. You know, come on, help your guy a little bit.
Sure.
You know, if your guy's struggling, you know, on 3rd and 1, you're going to drop back pass, and you know, when you hand the ball to Dowdle, you hand the ball to Hunter Lipke, hell, you sneak the ball with Dak, whatever you have to do, but don't put your rookie tackle who's kind of, you know, is fighting for his life over there.
Yeah.
Don't make him have to all of a sudden 3rd and 1 have a pass blocking situation. You know, you know, get the first down, keep the chains moving, you know, give your defense some rest. Sometimes it's just it's 2 stupid pills and a cup of Gatorade down there on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, why would you know, kind of think about your team, think about how you're, you know, man, my left tackle's struggling a little bit. Maybe I don't need to throw it here. Maybe I need to run it, you know, a couple of times or something like that. Maybe I need to give him a chance.
Brian, I'm not saying that you're saying this. I'm saying this, but answer it for me, right? Voch says Mike McCarthy is incompetent. And I'm not saying you're saying this.
Yeah.
Answer for me, Brian. And try to answer that question for me, Brian. Voch thinks that Mike McCarthy is incompetent.
You know what? I think there's some things about Mike McCarthy that are actually pretty good. The problem I have with Mike McCarthy is, you know, he has a play call sheet menu that looks like he's you know, he's at the Cheesecake Factory. You know, that thing is like he's got all kinds of hooks and pages and it seems like, what are all these plays the same play? And okay, play calling or knowing your team or knowing how. Why all of a sudden do you have some success in the first half calling some plays, getting some things done? In the second half, you get nothing. You just it's a struggle. You know, it's a struggle to get CeeDee Lamb the ball. It's a struggle out there. I just don't quite get it. And you use the word incompetent. I think there's times where I agree with you, because I wonder why that, you know, why can you have success at points in time during games and then other times you just completely fall off the map?
Yeah.
You know, you don't even look like the same offense out there, you know? And I'd love to know. I would love to be able to sit down with him and say, why for 2 quarters you guys are really, really good. And then for 2 quarters, it's a fight to hang on. Yeah. You know, I'll say something I will give him credit for. at the end of the game when they were trying to kind of kill that thing out, at least on first down, he was throwing the ball. You know, it was like throwing it for 6 yards, throwing it for 7 yards. Then he'd hit him with the run.
Yeah.
A lot of times these coaches will run, punt.
Yeah.
You know, he was trying to stay aggressive, but man, there's not. Why do you just your offense completely shut down? And I don't think it was something that the Giants were doing. I just know when you need to be at your best in that second half, I don't know. I don't know.
I have a lot of respect for Mike McCarthy, the head coach. I do think he does some great things as a head coach, but as a play caller, I think he leaves a lot to be desired. Bryan.
I do too. Yeah. I do too. I really do. And you know, and I felt like in the fourth quarter after the Tucker missed field goal with 10 minutes to go in the game, it's kind of like he woke up. It's kind of like, well, wait a minute, I've got a chance here. Okay, well, let's, you know. And then the first half of that game, I mean, Dak was damn good in the first half of that game.
Sure,
he really was. And you know, he got the ball to Lamb, you know, and you're talking about Flock and those guys, and you know, Banks. You know, that's what you got to see. Attack those guys, and you know, get Cooks going behind a pick and a rub and something else. You know, create opportunities for all your guys. Yeah. The screen call down there, I was like, it brought a smile to my face. Beautiful, you know, but few and far between at times. Yeah, few and far between.
Yeah, maybe he should get somebody to delegate that job. And another common thing with Mike McCarthy is the red zone offense is still not like clicking. Bryan, do you think that Mike McCarthy calls maybe a good play, but Dak Prescott checks it into hitches?
I wonder. I wonder.
I don't think that's the case, but I see people saying it on social media, and I have to entertain it.
Like, you absolutely do, because they send him to the line with some check with me stuff. Yeah, you know. How many times have we seen Dak, you know, he walks, steps up, talks, moves, you know, hey, there's a lot of things he's doing now. He might have a better idea of what he wants to do or what he sees, you know. I can't dismiss that. Yeah.
I would love for our media friends to ask the right questions, man. But you know how it go, Bryan Broaddus. Jalen Tolbert seems to be like your wide receiver too, and it's just simply because they just don't have a way to get Cooks going. You know, it just seems like they just have a better idea of how to get the ball to Tolbert than to get the ball to Cooks. But are
you feeling good about Tolbert again? I mean, to me, watching Tolbert play is like riding a ride at Disney World. Yep. You know, when you're going up the roller coaster and you got your hands up and you're screaming on the way down and it's going everywhere. Sure. You know, I don't know what to make of Tolbert, because there are times when he is a negative player. Sure. You know, and I wish there was more consistency to him. I wish it wasn't, you know, a couple of good things and then 3 things that you're like, bro, you got to block here. Yeah. You know, and maybe it's on the coaches too. You know, if they realize that he's not going to block well, if he's going to hold, if he's going to be a negative player in that aspect, don't ask him to do it. Yeah. Don't ask him to do it. You know, find somebody else. I mean, that 4th and 1 run that Hunter Lipke had, thank God Cooks went in there and cracked on the edge. Sure. You know, to kind of give him an opportunity, because you know, once that Hunter Lipke beat Thibodeau, well, at least he had a chance. But if, you know, maybe if that's Tolbert, he goes in there and he doesn't block, and now you got all kinds of defenders on the outside, you know, playing that game.
I would love it if Jalen Tolbert's game looked more like a T. Higgins or something, or if it looked more like, you know, these are guys that are like 1st-round picks and stuff like that, but like a real second receiver. I don't need Tolbert to get 12 catches or anything like that. I think that's unreasonable. But if Tolbert can give me 5 or 6, like a Terrence Williams type guy, you know, and he's not the speed guy or whatever, but just give me 5 or 6 catches and I would feel better about Jalen Tolbert consistently. But these games where he's just giving me like 1 catch and a holding call, I can't say that I'm pleased with it, but I think he's being used more than Brandon Cooks is.
Yeah, and you know, I'm on that soapbox with Brandon Cooks, because you saw what you can do with Brandon Cooks. You saw it with your own eyes. You saw what all receivers can do in this offense if they think about it. Yeah. You know, hey, you know, you want to get him, you want to play at those big tight ends, move a guy to the side where the tight ends are. Just bring a guy over left to right and put him behind a tight end, let the tight end clear that route, and you run behind it and throw the ball to that guy. You know, That's not hard football. That was a really nice play.
Mm-hmm.
Good route, good throw, big gain. You know, at that time, I'm thinking, oh, here we go. Here's some easy throws. Instead, Dak's got to throw in a tight window on a slant over the top of outstretched defensive ends' hands, you know, in order to fit it. You know, I mean, he threw the ball one time to Lamb. God, it was a pretty slant route he run. Hit him right between the 8 and the 8, you know, and just a really, and it had Banks draped all over him.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of throws that Dak has to make a ton of those throws in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like guys just draped on our guys or near our guys.
Because it's all hitches and the defense knows it, Brian. So that's why they all draped over.
Sitting on your routes, man. Just sitting down on your routes. Yep.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, boy, we are here for our feature presentation, man. Boy, the audience was hitting me up today, man. It was like, yo, Voch, please don't tell me that Bryan Broaddus is going to come out here and tell us that Mozzie really wasn't good when we thought he was. You know what I'm saying? Because we've had a long camp with Mozzie where a highlight will make Mozzie look good. Mm-hmm. And then good old Bryan will come on doing all right podcast. Like, 65 plays. 65 plays. Great the whole practice. Bryan Broaddus, I watched the game.
Yeah.
I watched the game, Brian.
Uh-huh.
I think Mozzie played his best game. I think he gave John Michael Smith a long night.
He did.
And I think that's at least some type of progress. Whether John Michael Smith is ready or not, I think there are more centers in the league that are like John Michael Smith than a guy like Tyler Linderbaum or something.
Yeah.
So as long as Mozzie can beat the
dudes,
guy
in New Orleans.
Or that guy in New Orleans. Yeah. Ruiz and Ragnar, those guys. It ain't a whole bunch of them. As long as Mozzie Smith
McCoy, New Orleans,
Pardon me, McCoy. As long as Mozzie can whoop up on the everyday man center, Brian, I think Mozzie's on the way to working in our good graces, sir. Bryan Broaddus, tell the good people what you saw from our former first-round pick, Mozzie Smith. So let's put the film on the screen. Right? Tell them what you saw.
How about this? We got some film. I love this. Oh, and we got a little highlight package here.
I got a little identifier, Brian.
Yeah, I got a little identifier right there. You know, and that's what you got to have happen right there with Mozzie. I mean, he did. There were several times when you watch him play where he was able to take John Michael Smith on one-on-one, been able to get rid of him, then find a way to maybe have to deal with a double team block, get rid of the double team block or split the double team block. You know, he was really, really good. He played on the other side of the line of scrimmage throughout this game. He didn't get tired. He didn't get wore down. He was active. He did a great job of holding up his end of where he needed to handle the blocks. He helped his linebackers. There were a couple different times where you watch the Kendricks behind him, and then Kendricks finds a way because of Mozzie getting penetration or holding up his guy and it allowed Kendricks to get to where he needed the ball to fill. It's just a really solid job all the way around for Mozzie Smith. I was happy for him just because there's times where he's taken a beating.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, Voch.
Yeah.
I think this was an important game for him for this reason alone. That he was dealing with back tightness. This game he was dealing with a hamstring. He fought through it.
Sure. He
fought through it. And there would probably be a time where Mozzie wouldn't have fought through this.
Yeah.
He would have said, he would have begged out. He would have said, okay, I can't go, got a back issue, got a hamstring issue. Yeah. Look at that. I mean, just his ability, now it'd be great to see him just shed that and just get over and make that tackle. But that's what you got to do. You got to, if you get penetration, it forces the back to have to go do something else. And Mozzie did that, but this was a game where Mozzie played through pain.
Yeah.
And he played through pain, and there's a difference between playing through pain and being hurt and being injured.
Sure.
And I think Mozzie last night learned the difference of playing through pain and then instead of just the injury part of thing. Because there's a lot of these guys that are hurt, they're banged up, they're nicked up, and they keep playing. They just keep playing. They keep playing.
Yeah.
And you know what? They do a great job. Mozzie learned a little something about himself last night.
Yeah.
With going through that. And I was pleased to watch him, to evaluate him. You know, I always talk about, was he a minus player? Was he a plus player? Mozzie was a plus player last night. He really, really was. He was in on several plays, several penetrations, several double team blocks that he split, and then was able to get to the football. And matter of fact, if you look at the numbers, and I know they doubled the hell out of Lawrence on the other side, but your nose tackle had 3 tackles and their nose tackle had 2. And so, you know, if you look for small victories, there you go. There's a small victory that your nose tackle actually had one more tackle than their all-pro guy. But Stephen Jones ain't wrong, man. You spend a lot of time doubling that Lawrence guy. Yeah. And you have to. You absolutely have. And you have to the point where you sacrificed your left tackle a little bit in this game.
Sure did.
Because he couldn't get help. You know, he could not get any help in this game because they were so worried about what was going on inside with Lawrence, or potentially what could have been going on inside with Lawrence.
See, Bryan, I think this is really good for Mozzie's confidence, man, because
me too.
we beat him down, and there's nothing like Cowboy media. You know, they got the radio guys, we got the .com dudes, but boy, we got YouTubers, Bryan, bro. Boy, we got Voch Lombardi just showing up every day beating down Mozzie Smith. And not only are we like beating down Mozzie Smith, good little show of power right there. Not only are we beating down Mozzie, but it's almost like if you're not the most mentally tough, and look, I don't know Mozzie, right? But you have to be mentally tough to be a Dallas Cowboy. So if you hear all this nonsense going on, and you hear people saying your name, and you see people tweeting you saying, damn, this Mozzie Smith getting whooped like this, you can almost believe that you're not a good player. And if you believe that it's downhill from there, you need to have a certain kind of confidence to be able to play in the league. So for Mozzie to be able to come out here and punch John Michael Smiths all night, and get more tackles than Dexter Lawrence, I think that's fantastic for his confidence. So now he can watch the film with a smile, and he can go into this next game going, all right, where's the Zach Frazier? Rookie Zach Frazier from West Virginia, he's with Pittsburgh now, and Troy Fautanu, those guys, right? All right, I got to go punch the hell out some other characters, and let's go have some little confidence right around here.
Yeah. See, this is the things that Mozzie, the ability to split the double team there, that to me was so encouraging to watch him to be able to play upfield, not get turned. And let's be honest, he's not a perfect player. But my gosh, the last several weeks he's actually shown up, and that's where they needed him to show up because they needed to play better run defense. And he's when you start to talk about why you play better run defense, it's having your one technique play better in a game. If you're holding up blocks on, Runyon had problems with him too in this football game. Van Rooten, he had problems with him too, so that's, if you can affect the inside 3, well, that surely it helps Overshone. It helps Kendrick, it helps anybody that's playing that inside linebacker spot.
Taking on the double teams right here, Bryan, and what that's doing is that this just helps Louisville scrape a little bit, you know what I mean? And it's just like I didn't even know who Mozzie was, sir. I didn't even know, just seeing him play like this, it was very encouraging. But we still need him to take this and be better. But good day for Mozzie.
There's 17 more of the, not 17, 13 more of these that you got to deal with. And, they're going to need Mozzie Smith to play well. And is he going to, is he going to make you feel like you're, dealing with, Warren Sapp or anything? I know, but if he could just not be a negative player, when there's going to be some snaps where he is not going to be good, but don't have 20 snaps and 12 of them you're a minus player. That can't happen, and you saw what happens when he is a plus player. They play really good run defense.
Bryan Broaddus, Fantastic show, man. You know, I love we could just talk back and forth, put the film on the screen, let the people see and hear what we talking about. The Cowboys got a lot of work to do. The Cowboys got a lot of healing, a lot of injuries to try to deal with, man. I don't know if roster moves are afoot, but I imagine that
afoot. That's very apropos, as they would say, right? Afoot.
Yeah.
Afoot because what Tank's dealing with. That's why I was
basically
thinking that.
Puns intended. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to have to look at something now. I just got the impression that Lawrence is longer than Tank, and we'll see. Yeah, and let's say Lawrence is. Then Micah. Then Micah. I was talking with some people in the organization, and when I was like you, I was watching the tape, and I'm going, when it happened with, and I even watching the TV copy last night because of the history of Tank and his foot.
Yeah,
with the way his foot hit. I texted somebody in the organization. I go, I bet you he's got a sprained foot. And the guy texts me back and goes, you need to be a trainer. And I said, no, I don't want to be a trainer, because I remember when the trainer yelled at Parcells about, where did you get your training degree from?
Yeah.
And Parcells looked at Britt Brown and goes, excuse me? He goes, where the hell did you get your training degree from? Because Parcells always had some kind of answer for him. Yeah. But it looked like a sprain, just the way that his foot hit the ground, because I've seen it before with him. And then they took off his sock and all, they were taping the bottom of his foot. And I thought, this is a midfoot sprain for him, is what this is, because he's had this before. So this probably will be a 4-week injury. I know people are asking about your corner, when Bland, when he might come back. I was, people think, oh, this week he can start practicing, but he's getting better. He ain't playing against Pittsburgh. No. We'll see what happens against Detroit, and it might even carry into, we might see what happens to San Francisco, is what it might be. But that one was going to be sooner than later, but it ain't going to be this week for Pittsburgh, from what I was told. Yeah. So don't expect that back. You probably get Carson back, but yeah, this is we'll see. I mean, Micah Parsons, we'll see how, if he's got some of those Wolverine powers to his body, where he can, get treatment. Get treatment every day, and stay off it, and then see what happens, But it sounds like to me that the Tank is going to be probably the 4 games, and then maybe we'll see Micah sooner than that.
If I had to guess, I say 3 games for Micah, 6 for Tank. If I had to guess. But you know how I go. I'm no doctor, man. I'm just a dude with a microphone and camera, man.
No, you know what? I could say it. I mean, people over there are very hopeful about this. The Tank one is really more significant. That's the one that's the one that they're worried about right now.
It's going to be a long couple of weeks then, Bryan Broaddus. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Love y'all to pieces. Thank you so much for making us a part of your night. For all my people out there on the West Coast, somebody from the West Coast called my show this morning, Bryan. It was like, hey, yo, Voch, you're absolutely right. We go through our day and we come home, and it's right on time for the We Doing All Right podcast. We appreciate everybody out there on the West Coast.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Please.
No, I really do appreciate everybody. I appreciate of your fan base has accepted me. Thank you for accepting me. It's been a real honor here so far. I love doing this show every night. I really, really, really do.
Man, I hate when you start talking like you ain't Bryan Broaddus, man. You Bryan Broaddus. Chill out, man. Like,
man. I'm just a guy with a microphone and a camera.
That's real. Hey, y'all can follow this dude with a microphone and camera at Voch Lombardi. Don't worry about it. But y'all can follow this dude with a microphone and camera at BRY Broaddus and all his various platforms. Y'all know where to find him, man. Well, y'all hold it down till next time, man. We love y'all to pieces. Monday, Bryan, we're going to take a little break.
Monday sounds good to me.
We're going to come back Monday. We'll catch y'all next time. Love you. Crown.